Ethan Bushman, welcome to the Elevate Your Life podcast, episode 1, season 1. This is the first one of many for the Elevate Your Life podcast. You are the first official Elevate Your Life participant. So far, it's been amazing working with you, y'all. For you guys out there who don't know Mr. Bush, he is a college student, one of the top producers here at Button Up, and one of our top guys on the Fly Vaunt account. For those of you who don't know what Vaunt is, the private jet membership app. And Ethan is our youngest and one of our top performers. He's also the first little, I would say, test dummy, but test smarty person here for the Elevate Your Life program. We've officially got him onboarded and using the program. And today, is going to act as a baseline of like where you're at now. You know, this is definitely a commitment that he's committed to. You know, I can't wait to see where we're at in 90 days, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years from now. So Bush, man, thanks for coming on board. You know, thanks for being a part of this. And yeah, we're excited to learn a little bit more about you today.
Dude, happy to be here. It's a pleasure. I'm so thrilled with the Elevate program so far. It's amazing. It's making me the best me I could ever be. So I'm excited to be here.
So let's get into this real quick. So the secret sauce of the Elevate program that is different than anything else that I know on the market, we intentionally try to design the life that you want to live and then actually create a plan to execute it and to create that life. So my first question for you, you know, now that you've sat down, you've been in the program for a couple of weeks, you know, this is now your second week, you're starting to find a bit of a rhythm. We went through a pretty great onboarding process. I got to learn a lot more about you and who you are as a person. But my first question is, what does it feel like to intentionally create your life instead of just living it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that the biggest impact this has had on me is just being able to see what I want and the steps of how to do it, how to achieve that. You know, instead of just saying, I want to be super successful by the end of this year, breaking it down into what I'm going to do today to be successful tomorrow, to be successful this week. And by the end of this program, going to be so much better than when I first started. Like, I think the biggest change is just getting those goals out in front of me, attacking them every day, and having something to shoot for has been the best for me.
For sure. And y'all, for you guys out there watching, Bush, then you can attest to this. You have not seen these questions.
No.
I said, look, we're going to go cold. So these are not scripted. This is real reaction. All these questions are off the cuff. So I really wanted to get your honest feedback. Again, this video is as much for people out there that maybe are struggling with purpose, direction, or just doing great in life. Because when I was thinking of these questions, right, it's like you weren't struggling. You had it all together. I mean, you're 21, making 6 figures, in school, tall, good looking, former athlete. You have it all together, but this is for people that want more in life, right? You may want to do, like I built it for myself because I want to do 1,000 things, but how do I actually achieve the things and prioritize what is most important to you and actually break down and figure out like what exactly it is that you want to chase, that you want to spend your time, because the biggest resource we have, right, is time. If you spend your time doing the wrong thing, it's almost worse than spending time on anything else. You got to be intentional about where you're spending your time and what life you want to live.
100%. And that was the biggest thing for me too, is you're right. I have a lot of good things going. I have a lot of goals, desires, and I'm always shooting for them, but I was just going at it 100% and not knowing what I was trying to really do. So being able to lay it all out and then still keep the same intensity was awesome. Like, it just keeps me so much more productive, on track, and I'm devoting my efforts to where they need to be. That's what I'm so pumped about.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, what has been your biggest win so far? What would you say, like, you know, I mean, I know it's only been 2 weeks, but what would you say is like your biggest win thus far?
I would say my biggest win is like being able to go back after I've had a week that was a successful, fulfilled week, made 20K in revenue or did all my goals, and look at how I got there. Go back and be like, oh, okay, Monday I worked out read from my Bible, I meditated, boom, I checked those 3 things off and I'm like, okay, I'm on track for this week. And I just keep accumulating all those things that I need to do. And then I end up on Sunday and I'm like, wow, I had an awesome week. I didn't, my biggest changes, I would say the biggest strength so far that this has really allowed me to do is it's helped me kick bad habits, identify problem smoking in the past. I was able to stop because I tell myself, I wrote it down that I'm not going to. It's not going to help me achieve my goal. And I'm sticking to what I said I would do. So accountability and just kicking bad habits has been the biggest thing that this has helped me out with.
Yeah, and it's helped me as someone who's trying to bring you along. I did write this program for 21-year-old Harrison that was just drunk and doing dumb shit all the time. And so it's helped me to see you actively filling in the sheet and working on the sheet, and I can actively hold you accountable. I would say I'm kind of a coach, but just really more of an accountability partner, because I feel like a coach might have all of his shit together. I definitely don't have all my shit together all the time. So I come at this like I'm just as fucked up as you. I've dealt with, like every addiction issue possible. So it's me really kind of looking at being holding each other accountable, and then vice versa, right? I see you out there doing your goals. I'm like, I can't be helping this guy along and not be hitting my habits too. So it's definitely helped me a lot. And then like actively being able to see you filling out where you're at for the week. And I looked at last week, right? I think your biggest struggle last week was definitely the smoking. I think that was the thing that you were having the biggest issue with. It was yesterday, Friday, and I looked at your sheet and I saw checked off all 4 days not smoking, and dang, that really made a difference. So that's pretty cool.
It seriously does. And just to touch on like you being a coach, I think of you as a mentor and a coach. Obviously, you're the founder of this, but at the end of the day, I do like you help me achieve my goals in the same way I help you achieve yours. We're all about, I would say, not only am I elevating my life, but we're elevating each other's, because it's something that we're in it together. It's not just, Harrison, you send me off on the week and say, good luck, talk to you in a week. I'm like, no, we're following up. So it's really nice to have that connection there.
Yeah. I would say one of my things that I would say is my strength is I'm not coming in as like a psychiatrist, like I'm here to fix you. No, I'm here. This is what I've done because I got ADHD, bipolar, addiction issues. I used to smoke 10 grams a day. I've dealt with it too. So I can help each other along. So I feel like that's a really cool part of the program for sure.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. This program is great because we're intentionally engineering better human beings and intentionally engineering leaders, right? And, I think there's a lot of companies, I would say most company, I don't know of any company out there that does it this way, but most companies are focused on, just hitting your revenue goals. I'm going to teach you how to be a better salesperson, which is great. That's definitely needed. But this program intentionally engineers better people that are following their purpose and following their mission. And the thesis behind this is better people yield better results. So, we saw like you last week kick a tough habit that you've been working on. So that's something immeasurable that doesn't show up on the scoreboard, the revenue scoreboard, but definitely shows up on the habit scoreboard. But you did have a pretty big win last week as well. You were sitting at about 25K going into Saturday, and your goal was 30. And you're like, I'm not coming in, dude. I got other stuff to do. I'm 21. I'm doing my thing. Like I got this and that to do. And I was like, you wrote this down. You wanted to hit 30, right? And then you came in. And you're like, you're right, and came in and hit your goal. So I think that was pretty cool to watch, see happen in real time too.
100%. And I flash back to that Friday night thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I could be satisfied. I could be done. I'm over 20K, but what really sticks out to me is you're right. Like I wrote this down and I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to disappoint myself. I made a commitment, and even as simple as an act of just writing it down, it's something in your mind that clicks. I set myself up for this. I'm right here. I'm going to go do it and achieve my goal and feel so good. And I'll tell you right now, Harrison, when I did hit that 30 after not wanting to work that day, I was so happy I clocked in and did it, because this is exactly what I worked all week for. This is what I'm doing all this for the future, for the next 90 days, for the next half year. And so the accountability that this has held me to, that is really helping me achieve my goals. The game plan, it's so easy. All you have to do is follow the game plan. Anyone can do it. Really anybody and everybody can do it. So it's all about the act of doing it. And so that's where
It definitely systemizes accomplishing your goals. I
Mhm.
will challenge you on one thing, it's definitely not easy.
No,
It's like the hardest thing ever. It seems easy. You're like, "Ah, write it down at the beginning of the week," and then it's like Friday and you're 26 hours of talk time deep and you're 5K away, and that 5K seems like it was way harder to even get to than the 30K when you originally set it out in the beginning of the week. But then, when you see that ball go through the net in sales, it's like a lot like sports. You see the ball to go through the net, it feels so good. You're like, "Oh man, I'm glad, man. I'm glad I hit that. I'm glad I went there."
100%. It's never easy. And I'll tell you what, a lot of smart people told me, anything hard is gonna be worth doing. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it and everyone would be a millionaire and billionaire and achieve all their goals. Definitely having the plan makes it easier to do the hard things. Setting yourself up at the start of your week makes it easier so that when you do get to crunch time, you're like, all right, I already have the plan. I already know what I need to do. I'm gonna go do it. And that's where this helps you do the hard stuff, right?
I'll revert back. I'm looking at your sheet right now, your weekly worksheet. I'll revert back to your quote of the week. Luck is what happens when opportunity meets preparation.
Mhm.
I think that was a very fitting quote to how you ended last week. I know we're both coming in on Saturday today. We both got numbers to hit today. So I think the upfront work, and I told you in the beginning, this program is work. This is not the, oh, yay, fun. No, this is like a full, you got to really commit to this shit. It's mindset, it's habits, it's staying organized and staying focused, but the results, feeling that ball go through the net and actually achieving what you want to achieve is definitely, I think, worth it in the end.
100%. And the other thing I wanted to add that you mentioned that was really good is even on a day where, let's say, I fell short of my revenue goal for sales, I look at what I did for my life, like the meditating, reading, working out, and I'm like, wow, I still had a really productive day. And
Yeah.
even though I fell short, and that's going to make me mad, make me more inspired and driven to hit the goal. But I reflect on it. I'm like, I still got a lot of stuff done. I still got 1% better. That's my whole goal. I want to get 1% better every day. And I feel like with this, I always do. Every day is a win. And that's the best part too.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I checked in with you midweek and you were like, "Ah, I'm not where I'm at." And then I looked at your habits, but I was like, dude, but you've like
Mm.
meditated every day, you've read the Bible every day, you prayed every day, and then you haven't smoked pot. So, I mean, would you say it's not a successful week? And you were like, yeah, you're right.
It
It puts it in
totally
perspective.
changes my mind though. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're right. I had a successful day. I had a successful week. And that just it inspires me and drives me to be successful in the other parts of it that I haven't succeeded at yet. I am doing good. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Fires me up. So
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think just the growth. I can't wait till we in 90 days rewatch this podcast, Bush, and see consistent effort. You're not going to win every day. Michael Jordan missed 10,000 shots or something like that, but he's the greatest basketball player of all day. You're not going to win every day. Every week is not going to be the ultimate week, but ultimate sales week. But if you consistently put in the effort towards being a better person, like I said, the thesis of this is better people yield better results. So I know you're going to prove that, and I know when we look at this 90 days, 6 months, 2 years. I know you said when I'm done with this program, I hate to break it to you, but you're never done with this program. You're in it for life now, man. So it never ends.
It's the best. I cannot wait for the moment to go back 2 years after I started this and just look at all the progress I made. Like that's my favorite part. I see the growth and it shows me how I can do better even still, because in the 2 years I'm going to improve every day, but I'll go back and see common trends and be able to correct them easier too. And it shows me how far I've come. Like life can suck a lot of the times. And so taking some moments to enjoy it and look at your success, it helps me envision future success as well. It shows me I've done great things. I'm going to continue to do great things. And it's nice to enjoy a moment where you're proud of yourself. It's very important to be proud of yourself in my mind. And I think that this program really it shows you how cool you can be and how productive you can be. So that's my favorite part too. Like,
As as our fearless leader Brian always says, remember who you are.
yeah, very
Remember who you
important.
are.
Very
So,
important.
um, uh, so kind of touching on that vision, and the first thing I had you do, or the first thing you come in and do with this is like we sit down and build your 3-year vision
Mhm.
and have you picture what do you want your 3 years to look like before we get into habits, before we get into goals, before we get into anything. If you listen to Neville Goddard, the shadow cast by your imagination is what the world ends up being, right? So I really wanted you to take a deep dive into what do you want that vision to look like so that we can intentionally design your goals and not only manifest in your mind, but also actually manifest it in real life. You manifest it in your brain, opportunities are going to come, but then actually having a plan is going to ensure that 100% you're going to get there. So, have you ever thought about that far into your future before? You're 21, right? Have you ever thought about a 3-year vision, or was this the first time?
Yeah, great question. I think that I always have thought about the future. Like I tell myself, my dad is a great example. He retired from the Air Force when he was 43. And in my mind, I'm like, when I'm 43, I want to be at that level where I don't have to work another day in my life. And that's great. It's a fun thought in my mind. But then I have 50 other thoughts where I'm thinking about my future too. So the biggest advantage for me was being able to sit down, not just think about a bunch of stuff, and really just go, okay, what do I want in 3 years? I want this. Okay, let me write that down. And then to look at that every day, every week, remind myself what I want. I'm like, yeah, I still want that. That's what I'm shooting for. Being able to put it down and reference it, that makes it like locked and cemented in my mind so that it's something that I always think about. It just helps me kind of isolate that goal and keep shooting for that instead of just going crazy every week trying to accomplish everything I can to get to that point. So I think that having a 3-year goal is great because it's not too far out. It's very close. I'm going to be 24 before you know it. And I'm going to have another 3-year goals out and then another one. And then eventually I will be 42, be retired in my beach house in St. Augustine, just living the life. And it all started with this goal here. So
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you're so far ahead. Shit like this is like an investment. They don't teach you any of this in school. You're not going to take the manifestation class. You're not going to take the
I'm
chase
in
your
school.
dreams
I'm not learning.
class. I don't think they offer the chase
No,
your dream class in college, do they?
no, they should. I would
They
sign up
should,
for that
right?
for
But they
sure, but
don't. This is something that you're so ahead of the curve on, or even just hearing you say that about when I'm 24. If I would have got ahead of the game and had this when I was this young, it's like investing. The interest compounds over
yes.
time. You're starting so early, and I can't wait to see where you're at when you're 36. I mean, in 15 years, you'll be my age. You're going to be slight years ahead. You're already making 6 figures a year as a 21-year-old. You're already and you're making 6 figures and going to college. You're already setting yourself up for the future. And I think having this program and just having that 3-year vision in place is going to take you places. But then for you, a 20-year vision is for me. I mean, I'll be 56 when in my 20-year vision. You'll be
I'll still be balling.
41 years old, dude. You could be done. You could be done with the hard part of life and on to the fun, which is retiring.
Want to work my tail off and grind so that one day I don't have to. I can watch other people. I can help other people achieve that goal. And really, that's the other thing too, is part of the Elevate program is you're right. It stays in your life forever. I'm going to be talking about this when I'm 40. People ask me, Ethan, how did you get to where you are? What did you do? And I'll say, I elevated my life and here's how you can do it. And I'm like, anybody could. That's what I'm emphasizing. Anybody can have the same goals as me, whether you're 35 or you're 21. It's never a better time to start just putting these things down, setting yourself up for success and following through. And you will have all the rewards in the life. You'll have a great life that way. I'm so confident in that.
Yeah, that brings me to my next point here. So part of the day two of the onboarding is every company has a personal mission statement. I believe every person should have a personal mission statement when you're making those tough decisions or making this tough decisions of how do I want to design my life? What do I want my 3 years to look like? What do I want my 20 years to look like? To be able to refer back to one sentence and say, oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing this for. That's why I'm showing up on a Saturday. That's why I'm not hitting my bong on at Tuesday night. What's my bigger purpose and bigger vision? And I thought yours was like very telling for who you want to be. And I mean, everything we're talking about just the last 20 minutes have fit into that, right? Yours My purpose is to help others achieve fulfillment in life and professional success by continuously walking, improving, and growing in my own personal and professional development.
Mhm.
So, very telling, right? You really want to be a leader and set an example so that you can help others. And what you just said, right? In 20 years, be retired and be able to help others live the life that you lived. So, how has writing that out changed your thought process? I know it's only been a couple weeks, but how has it changed, and how has it changed if it has changed?
Yeah, so definitely my thought process changed from having a list of things in my mind that I know I want to do and getting some of them done, getting just kind of loosely doing what I need to do, to now every day I can reference what I need to do. I have times for when I need to do it. And it just has made me so much more productive. So I would say the biggest thought process change is getting everything done has been easier. It's all laid out for me. So all I have to go and do is just do it. And then kind of touching on what my goal is, having myself figured out more, that's the only way I'm going to be able to help other people figure themselves out, help them improve and grow. And by no means am I perfect. I have so much more to learn, which I'm super excited for. But I think the biggest mindset shift for me has been laying everything out and doing it, and then sharing that with others. I'm like, hey, this is I showed one of my best friends my list, of everything that I do, all my goals. And he's a guy that's just coming out of high school, doesn't really know what he wants to do yet in life. And I'm like, listen, Maddox, just write everything down. Just take 30 minutes, write it all down. We'll figure it out from there. And it'll help you get your mind right and just start putting all your efforts towards what they need to go towards. So
Yeah.
long-winded answer,
That's
but
great. I mean, it's great to hear you already living your purpose and being intentional. I think we automatically unintentionally live our purpose if it's important to you. I know you're really good at mentoring even the newer guys than you that have come in. You've been a really good at helping them kind of get going. So you automatically unintentionally do it. I think that's purpose is always going to pull us to where our heart is called. But write it down and be like, "Oh yeah, that's who I am. That's why I'm doing this." And then be intentional about like even like what you just said, like taking someone in high school, like I didn't even think about that. I'm helping you, now you help somebody else. Now this thing grows and everybody's elevating their lives and we have a better world around us. And I think that's always been my mission is we're not doing it for the money. We're doing it cuz I'm starting this and I want to see this program grow because I want to see the world around us grow. I just want to have a better life. I want a better, more motivated Bushman, right? You want more motivated people around you. So I think when you're living in your purpose, money's gonna flow. All this stuff will flow. Obviously, this is stuff eventually we all want to be rich and be retired and on our yachts. And I think I know we're all gonna get there. But if money wasn't a thing, would you still be living in your purpose? And I think once you answer that question, everything else kind of fits in.
100%. And just to touch on that, the biggest thing is, yeah, money comes and goes, but time is limited. I think that, and this is one of the best quotes. I heard it even before we talked. Yeah, I've heard it from you and Brian now, but one of my favorite coaches always said, listen, Ethan, I don't want a lot. The only thing I ask is that every day you get 1% better. You do whatever you need to get 1% better, whether it's in baseball, college, sales, life. And I think that is the most important measurable, is because if you had a bad day where you didn't make any money, or you didn't get all your schoolwork done, did you do something in your life to get better? Did you better yourself? Because at the end of the day, that's all we're trying. I want us to be the best people we can be. I want everyone to live their best life. And it all starts with that, one day at a time, 1% better. So
Yeah. And the 1% better, I mean, this touches on another part of the program. One thing I like to do differently than other stuff out there is you can't really, I mean, I think of life as a game. You can't really win a game if you aren't keeping score. So, one thing I'm having you do differently than, obviously we can keep track as far as like your sales numbers go. We're going to track that. We have those 8-week rolling averages. I had you screenshot your bank account so you can see how that's going to grow. But one thing is very hard to intentionally track is habits. And so I built the system, the 8 healthy habits plus your flex habit, and giving yourself a score at the end of each week. You've done this now one full week, and then you're doing it this week. I'm just curious, and tell me if it hasn't worked or not, but how has that helped you track, giving you some habit awareness?
Yeah, it showed me what I actually was doing every day, because I take every moment, I do it and then it's gone. My brain is just racing so fast. So to be able to look back and say, okay, I actually did all the good habits that I normally do, and that's what led me to a successful day. It's been very nice to make something that wasn't very measurable. I can track it every single day. I can track, okay, I worked out. Okay, I did this. Okay, I did that. Awesome. I'm totally on track. It just comes back to, it helps you lay out a game plan and follow it, even for things that you might have followed every day. You just didn't even track them, or things you haven't been doing that you've told yourself, oh, I want to read. I'll read tomorrow. I'll read tomorrow. No, you show yourself you read today and you read
Yeah,
the next day, and you
it
hold
does
yourself
help.
accountable.
Yeah. When it's on that habit, the last couple of days, like last week, I'm like the nighttime, I've gotten really into I just got a new house, so it's like got a nice, beautiful couch and TV and everything. And I got really into watching TV for a while. Now I'm like, all right, before I turn this TV on, let me check off my read real quick.
Yeah.
And then by the time I'm done reading, I don't feel like watching TV. I go to bed and I'm in a better mindset. So I think there is something about the checking off the scoreboard that really is powerful.
It's the act of committing to something and then holding yourself accountable to that.
Yeah.
You wrote down, like, I am not gonna do this, or I am going to do my homework tonight. And then you're sitting there at bed, laying down, you're tired, you're like, I don't feel like doing it. Well, you wrote it down. So now you're just lying to yourself. You're not holding yourself accountable. It's you versus you. And so
Yeah.
I think that really, yeah, so it inspired me. I'm like, you know what? I want to win the day. And all it takes is getting up, spending 20 minutes on my calculus homework, and then I can feel so much better. And then I can go watch TV for a couple minutes. And you're right. It keeps you motivated. You don't even want to do some of the bad habits. You're like, I'm too tired to do something
Yeah.
that I didn't even want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's one habit you've done more of in the last 2 weeks?
Definitely meditate and read from my Bible. And honestly, if we're talking about all the habits I have, meditating is probably my favorite. It's the one I did the least, and now it's the one I do the most, because it's great. I didn't even realize it's a habit that I wanted and could build that would help me out until I started doing it and doing it every day. And I'm like, wow, the best 10 minutes of my day. A lot of the times, I write down other good moments as the best part of my day, which is also awesome as part of this. I love being able to reflect on every single day and its uniqueness. But really, those 10 minutes where I sit down, I listen to the video, I close my eyes, I breathe, I mentally reset. It really just helps me get ready for every single day. And then reading from my Bible too. I've been getting closer to God for a while now, and that certainly helps. That's a goal I've had for a while, is to finish that. So those two things have been the best.
Yeah, I'd love hearing that because that's always been one of the harder ones to teach is meditation. So I'm glad that's the first one that you're jumping on because I know how much it changes my ADD, my focus, everything. And it's been I for 8 weeks didn't meditate and I noticed such a big difference in like everything. And then now the last month I've been on fire and I'm all right. Like it's definitely there. So how often were you meditating before this?
Maybe once a week, more
Wow.
likely once a month, if that,
Wow. Okay.
not at all. It was something that, my mom would throw on a meditation video every once in a while. I'd be like, okay, Ma, I'll do this with you. And then now every day I'm sending her videos. I'm like, Mom, you need to check out this video,
In just 2 weeks. That's awesome.
Seriously.
That's really cool. That's
It,
really cool.
it's so nice. Yeah. I can't stress enough how much like you mentioned, I was doing a lot of stuff right, which I'm very happy. I was good, but now doing this, I'm better, and I'm like infinitely better, more than I could have ever thought.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's exciting for me to like I said with you is like, because when I was thinking of these questions, you don't necessarily have to be in a bad place for this to work. Really the better place you're in, the more it's gonna help you. It helps everybody. I wrote it for the productive Harrison and the bipolar depressed Harrison. It's actually for both types, but to see it on someone who's already got their shit together, that's already way ahead of the curve on all things speaking, comparatively to most kids your age. It's cool to see how quickly you're picking this stuff up. So
100%. In my mind, I take it to sales. Like a while ago, I was good. I was getting a better feel for it, but now I'm fine tuning. Now I'm like getting into perfecting it and making it the best possible. And that's exactly what this was. Cause I had, I had a good diet, good fitness routine, good able to study and read and all that stuff. And I was doing it, but this is just really having me lock in on all that. Like I'm saying, focusing all my efforts on the important stuff in life. And that's been the biggest thing. Whether you do that a lot or you never do that, this is going to help you improve on it so much. So the room for growth is amazing. I'm just going to keep getting better and forever, which is awesome.
Wherever you are, it's supposed to elevate your life. It's supposed to just take you wherever you're at to the next level.
100%.
And a level that you didn't even realize was there. Cool. So let's touch on something, a couple more secret sauce of the program, right? We've talked about there's 3 pillars of happiness that I feel are habits of happiness that are super necessary to creating your happiness, right? Obviously, meditate, workout, read, write, and learning. Those are generic things that I would say most programs are going to have to help you kind of better your life. I think that for good reason, right? Those are very much necessary habits, but the secret sauce to elevate your life, there's a couple of habits that are a little bit different, I think, out of the box, and one of those is having honest conversations with the people that you love and actually tracking and giving yourself credit for that, just like you would give yourself credit for a workout, giving yourself credit for having that honest conversation, whether it be positive, like, hey, I really appreciate that you did that for me, mom. Like, I don't tell you enough how much I love you and, you do everything for me. Or girlfriend, you do this thing that really upsets me and I don't want to fight about it. I just want to be transparent and honest, and having those honest conversations is something that is uncomfortably honest, is something that's hard to do either way, right? Like when you're telling somebody how much you love them or care about them, it's can be uncomfortable. And then the opposite, right? Conflict, a lot of times, especially us sales guys, we avoid conflict at all costs. So how has that tracking those conversations, how has that affected you, and have you had more because of that?
Man, that's a great one. Yes, definitely. It's helped me because honestly, for a while I struggled with lying. And just even before sales or anything in life, I would just avoid uncomfortable conversations by telling a little white lie. I realized this about a year ago where there's no point in lying. Honestly, the truth is better a lot of the times, even if it's not the perfect answer, it's going to be more appreciated. And then to really be able to, I call my mom and my family all the time, but to think, you know what, let me just lay it all out there. Like I'll tell you right now, one of the honest conversations I had was talking about this, and talking about it helped kick my smoking habit. And, I talked about it with my mom and my dad, who they both knew in the past that I have, but they didn't know to the length that I was doing now. And they're like, well, I'm glad you talked to me about this. This is what I want us to talk about. So really, being able to know that I need to have those honest conversations, it forced me to have them, and it felt great. Now I don't feel forced to do it. I'm like, you know what? I should have been doing this anyways. So it all goes back to tracking it, writing it down, telling myself I'll have those 2 conversations, forcing myself to have those 2 conversations, and then feeling so much better because of it. So it definitely helped force me to do that. And then even with like the random conversations too, I love to talk to people, but I find myself now, especially being on the phone a lot, I don't want to have conversations. Like I'm tired of talking to people. So it gets me to switch my mode, just have a nice friendly conversation with someone, make sure that I'm still staying social. It's got me to talk to my friends more and reach out to the ones that I care about, like that I know care about me too. And so it's really just helped me be more genuine and talk to more people that I should be talking to, if that all makes sense.
Yeah. So for those of you out there, right, there's 2 habits in there, right? There's the honest conversations. So having those honest conversations with the people that you love. For me, the hardest one for sure of all the habits to do, because I hate it's just sometimes they're easy, but really they're never comfortable. Even
Depends
when
on
you're
what you're
like,
being
I
honest about.
love you, man. You're like, dude, get off me. Like, you leave me alone. And then the real transformative ones are the ones that like this is really bothering me. Let me, and not react, because a lot of times we react angrily. This is like, all right, like something pisses you off, go think about it, meditate on it, and then come back and have like a productively honest conversation. So that's part one. And then the other habit is have random conversations with somebody new each week. So not only are you fostering the current relationships that you have with the honest conversation, so maintaining good, healthy relationships is something that as a salesperson or just in life in general, if you don't have good relationships, you're effed. I'm sorry. You're screwed. Your life, you may make 10, you maybe worth $10 billion, but if you got shitty relationships, you're going to lose that money or spend it dumb or not do what you're supposed to do. So having those honest conversations is going to make sure that you have that life and that support system that you want. And then the other side of that is having those random conversations with somebody new every single week and then tracking it so that when you go back, like I told you, I started that random conversation Elevate sheet that I gave you, where it's just essentially just a sheet of everybody that I've met since 2024 of people that I randomly went out and networked and met. I have 656 names on there now of people that I can go back to and talk to. And people ask me, how do you do events? Like, how do you get all people to do stuff, or how do you organize this? It's really being intentional about having a conversation with someone, tracking it so that eventually I can go back through and say, oh yeah, I forgot about that person. Let me remember that and go back through there.
100%. And in my mind, I'm a people person. I love building new relationships, and I love people that, push me to be better, do fun things with me. I can set goals with them. And by having those random conversations, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I hadn't started a random conversation.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this job. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have random conversations. So it's so important. We're all one species. We're all humans here. We're all people, and you got to talk to people, man.
Yeah. That's a great point and something I did want to like touch on, right? One random conversation can change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to me if you didn't have that random conversation. We don't need to go into too depth here, but can you just tell people how you got this job in the first place and how a random conversation has changed your life?
Absolutely. I love the story. So my now coworker, Tyler, one of my guys, love him to death. I bumped into him at a cigar bar in St. Augustine. I was just there chilling on a Friday night. And I actually walked past Tom, my CEO as well, but Tyler was like, nice bomber jacket. I'm like, thanks, man. And just started chatting with him. And he's telling me, he's like, hey, this guy right here, he's the best. I'm making so much money. He's the smartest salesman ever. And I'm like, oh, well, I should probably have a conversation. 30 minutes after talking to my now CEO, he's like, hey, Ethan, I think you're a nice guy. I think you have a lot of really good things going. Let's talk. Let's set up a call for about a week from now. I want to see if you'd be interested in an opportunity. And I'm like, well, sounds good, Tom. I 30 minutes ago, I had no idea who you guys were. And now I'm looking forward to a new life-changing opportunity. And then fast forward 7 months, 8 months from there, and I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life. I'm in the best shape mentally and physically, and I'm kicking ass and getting better every day. I'm learning so much. So by one conversation, that's all it took to get to where I'm at here, and a lot of hard work. But it really just so important, because you never know who you'll meet. You never know who you'll talk to. Could be life changing.
Yeah, luck comes when preparation meets opportunity, right?
100%.
Right.
100%.
So
That's
that
why, hey, dress nice too. Always look the part, look fly.
always look the part. Yeah, that's part. We'll talk about that in a separate episode. But
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So obviously having those random conversations, and I think the biggest thing, right, is you followed up too, right? So
Oh yeah.
remembering to make sure to follow up with people when you meet them. Again, you're gonna manifest stuff regardless. This is just to make sure that it goes through the situation. You're gonna meet that person. You would have met Tom regardless, but now you have a system now to meet 100 Toms or 500 Toms. Now you have a system of how to actually track it and make it be intentional about having the random conversation, and then also we have the system to track it now. So I think that's another one of the big keys of the program. So random conversation can change your life. Honest conversation is gonna make sure that your life stays intact. And then this is the fun one to make sure that you fucking dude, life is too short to not enjoy it, right? So one of the keys, one of the healthy habits, happiness, whatever you want to call it, is exercise your creative outlet
Mm-hmm.
and intentionally every single week. So not only are we making sure we're meditating, reading, writing, hitting our sales goals, but at least one time a week, you are required as part of this program to not work and to and do something that you enjoy doing that is you most I mean it's a hobby, right? So most it's something you would not only not do for free, but typically you're paying to do this thing. And it's not just a hobby like, oh, I like to go. I mean, I guess video games could be, but I would say it's like one of the worst habits you can honestly have. It's not really a creative outlet, but something that you want to get really great at and become the best at outside of work, right? Mine's music. I love music. Sunday nights, I really protect that time of like creating a new record, which has been awesome for me. And that's my passion, my hobby, the thing that I absolutely love doing that I told you if I had one day left on earth, I would definitely go create a song. And so part of this program is if you don't have a creative outlet, finding your creative outlet and then practicing it at least once per week. It could be golf, it could be painting, it could be pottery, it could be music, it could be whatever you want it to be great at, it could be that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing that I really harp on with the program. And so just wanted to kind of talk briefly about what is your creative outlet and then have you intentionally done it more and how has that made you feel since starting the program?
Yeah. So super important one. I struggled the first week to think about what was my creative outlet because I'm a big sports guy. About once or twice a week, I'll go hit baseballs for fun or go golfing. Yeah, I went golfing last weekend with my buddies. But for me, one of my favorite subjects in school, I really loved my 3D art class. I loved sculpting. I loved just kind of playing around with some physical art. So one thing that I've really tried to do is even if it's just going to Marshalls or whatever and getting something pre-sculpted, I'll just go and paint that. Or I will go get something I can make, whether it's a hands-on craft or even sometimes cooking can be my habit too. I like making things, doing things that are, I can be a little artistic about. And so I would say it definitely helps me prioritize that because that's something that's extra in my mind. I don't take a time out of my day to do something that I enjoy, but that's wrong. I should. You need to do that. Otherwise, you'll go nuts. So it helped me just force myself to go out and do that, make the extra effort to do something fun because I have time. Like on my Sunday, I'm going to go get like I've been looking at the sunflower that I'm going to get. It's like a nice little pot and I have the colors for it already. So I'm going to go paint.
Really? Okay. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cool. I mean, that's great to hear because I mean, you're working a full time. I mean, people who think selling Vaunt is the most fun thing. I mean, it is fun, right? Like
Don't
we
get me
we
wrong. It's
we
great.
make it fun. It's great. I mean, making great money selling private jets is awesome. But I mean, dude, the motherfucker, it is fucking draining.
Commit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You're on the phone. I mean, our talk time requirements are 25 hours of talk time. That's actual talking to people on the phone. That's a lot. Dude, go. I challenge anybody out there watching this that thinks we have an easy job and I challenge you to do it for a week and see how you feel by the end of the week. It's very draining. It's definitely like I had to find my balance of going hard and then exercising that creative outlet. And I've been making some badass music lately. So
Nice.
I can't wait to see what you get to create and just being intentional about that. So I think that's the biggest thing with the program. Obviously, we have career goals for you. I'm here to make you better at your career, which is going to make you more money, which is going to make you happier.
Hmm.
But also elevate when we design your goals, it's not I force you to not make it all money goals, right? I'm like, we're gonna have one money goal, one fun goal, and then one flex goal. So what's the areas that you're looking to improve the most on? So for you, I mean, you want to share your three goals?
Yeah, I will. I can pull them up. So my money goal is to maintain my weekly average of 30K a week, which really it's more in the 20K recent. Although I will say it, this past like month I made dang near 100,000 in total revenue. So it's been pretty close to that. My mental goal, my better goal is I want to finish the Bible by the end of this year, which I'm way ahead of schedule on. And then definitely my flex goal, because I was just talking to, I was too busy getting talk time hours. I wasn't talking to anybody else, was to have 6 total intentional outings with my new roommates. I'm about to move, which I'm very excited. They're really good guys. And then to just make sure I do cement those relationships for a long-term friendship and do that by the end of this year. So I'm hitting all 3 of them very well. I'm super on track to achieve and blow past those goals by the end of this year. So
Yeah, and I think that's my favorite part about this is being well-rounded in my pursuit, where you're not gonna end up like an unhappy Bush. I want a happy Bush, right? Like I want you in a year from now to be like, damn, I'm a happier person. I achieve my goals too. That's important, but at the end of the day, this life is short. So like, how has having that, well-rounded 3-part goal of like, I'm reading the Bible, I'm crushing work, and I'm getting to have fun with my friends. How does that differ from anything you've done in the past? And how does it feel to have a balanced pursuit rather than just one focus?
it definitely, you nailed it there. It makes me put importance on all 3 of them, as opposed to like 50% on sales and 25% on the other. It's split across the board, because I realize it's not all about money, or it's not all about your friends, or it's not all about that mental goal you want of reading. It's about having that balance. So it's forced me to not just dive in too heavy on one and burn myself out. Like, I didn't just try and read through the whole Bible in one night, stay up all night, and wake up the next morning feeling awful. Or I didn't put aside seeing my friends all week just so I could grind on the phone, which I've been there. There's times when your week is going to change and it's not going to go exactly as planned. But the nice thing is having those 3 goals, not having a priority, one or the other, just knowing you need to hit all 3. It helps you balance your life out so you can maintain it and keep doing this, because it's all about staying consistent and staying the course. So it's helped me with consistency. It's helped me have a good balance of not burning out. And it's been wonderful. Like, I can't stress it enough. It has made my life better, and it's continuing to do so.
Yeah, and we're just 2 weeks in. So
And two
we're
weeks in, and I'm already
yeah.
fucking better.
Yeah. I think one thing before we wrap up, one thing you touched on there, look, every week is not going to be some weeks. I'm not saying like every week you're going to hit all 3 of these goals. And some weeks you're going to have to work fucking 60 hours to hit your shit. Right. Like, I'm not saying there's weeks that you're not going to have to grind, but then the other weeks remembering, all right, I'm actually having a pretty balanced life and I want to be here for the long term. I don't want to, I don't want anyone to come in and burn out. Right.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to be sustainable long term. Damn, I came in to button up, elevate. I came in, built the life I wanted, not just work to work to work to work. So I think that's really cool to see. It's great to hear your feedback as far as how you're feeling thus far in 2 weeks. Again, these are unrehearsed questions, y'all. I am not paying Bush to say this. This is off the cuff, and this is as much for us to watch in the future as it is for people out there. I can't wait to see how your life changes, how your answers change. The stuff you're struggling with today is definitely not going to be the stuff you're struggling with in the future. So I do have one last question for you. Okay. You have to do it. Everybody has to do it. You already got sunglasses on, so we can't really tell if you're doing it or not, but I do just need you to just close your eyes
Yeah.
just for a second, and I want you to picture your life. It's Tuesday in 3 years from now. What does it look like? What does your life look like? I want you to really be a little bit detailed here as far as Tuesday afternoon. What does Bush's life look like in 3 years?
I can tell you right now, I'm waking up in my king size bed. I get up, have my morning coffee. I go for a run right across the street. It's St. Augustine Beach, stretching all the way to Crescent Beach. It's beautiful. The sun's rising as the waves are crashing in. I get a nice 30-minute run in. I come home, grab, a quick protein shake. I have a nice fridge. I have a nice house. To have a house, in my mind, I've already had a good down payment on it. So get my workout in, the rest of it at home. I'll have a home gym too, because I'm gonna be balling like that. And then just attack my day at work, get everything done. I'll be done with school at that point. I'm so excited. That's the thing I'm most excited to picture. But crush it on the phones. Hopefully I'm doing some bigger, badder stuff, but I'm going to get off, cook myself. When in 3 years, I'm eating steak every night. That's my goal. I'm going to have my nice ribeye, bone-in ribeye for me. Maybe a filet if I'm feeling like it. That's more for Thursday, Friday, but have my ribeye, just get my nightly routine done, get all my emails done, read some books, read my favorite book, and then just chill. Just go out on my back porch. Maybe I just go to the beach in the nighttime, stare up at the stars, and think that 3 years ago, I was 21 and clueless, just kind of going at life, to now where I'm 24 and just living the best life ever, and going to keep doing that. And that's what my image, that's what I think of in 3 years, is living that best life.
I love it. I want you to open your eyes now, and I want you to talk directly to the camera. I want you to look at future Bush, and I want you to tell him one promise that you're going to make to yourself before we sit down next time. What's one promise that you're making to your future self?
I promise to my future self that I will not go back to the bad habits I've had. I will not revert to all the crutches or the addictions I needed to get through moments. And I will be infinite. I will be 10% better the next time I talk to myself. I'll be more than that. I will be just every day I will continue to get better. And so that when I'm talking to myself again, I can say the same goal. I'll be like, great, I've done amazing. I'm going to get another 10% better. And by the 10th time I talk to myself, I'll be 100%. That's what I'm telling future Bush right now.
Elevate your life, baby. Can't wait to see it. Let's rock and roll.
Celebrate, baby. Love it.